In this video, we talk about my 2024 predictions. Welcome back to another episode of Gulf Coast Investing, where we talk about all things investing right here on the Gulf Coast. My name is Casey and I would love if you would like this video and consider subscribing to my channel for more great content like we put out every single week. So today I wanted to do a video talking about my predictions for 2024. So I did this video last year and got some cool feedback and things like that of what other people thought their predictions were for 2023. So I'm actually going to make a video in the next coming weeks that's going to actually break down that video of my 23 predictions. What did I get right? What did I get wrong? And things like that. So that's kind of a fun one that I like to do. So 2024 predictions. So I've kind of mentioned some of these things in some of my previous videos, so kind of wanted to break down what I thought, is going to happen in a bunch of different areas. Of course, we're more real estate focused and things like that, but want to talk about different things like that. So the first thing is that interest rates will come down. Now, this one's kind of a cheat because Jerome Powell and the Fed have already announced that interest rates are going to come down. So it's like, okay, we'll already know that. But I think this is more the timing of when things come down. I think the first, possibly even the second quarter, we're going to see things stay relatively the same as we get different indicators and things like that coming in with inflation. I think the second half of the year, probably because it's an election year, the economy, people in charge want to make the economy look better and things like that so they can, again, win their election and things like that at the end of the year. So that coupled with inflation coming down, I think will cause the interest rates to come down some. Now, will it be a substantial amount enough for our coastal, real estate investment market that we're in? I don't know. Will it help out some? Hopefully it does. Hopefully it helps, some more sales and things like that. But have to remember that a lot of people that are buying an investment property, you can't buy it with a first mortgage. And again, if you're buying it with your primary mortgage, like you're going to live in it, then interest rates may be, 7% say. But if you're buying it with an investment mortgage or a second home mortgage, things like that, the interest rate is even higher. So we're already at a higher rate than the current interest rates. So for interest rates to come down, that means then mortgage rates would have to come down, which would bring that second home and rental interest rate type loan down a little bit. But is it enough to really make a difference down here? I don't know yet. I think 2024 will probably see a little bit of the same that we've seen in 2023, as far as just not a ton of sales, not a lot of movement. Maybe the prices won't drop as much as they did in certain areas in 2023, but we shall see. So that kind of brings us into my outlook and predictions for the coastal market for 2024. Like I said, depending on where the rates go, I think the prices will come down some. Hopefully the big kicker is the insurance. So insurance right now is just beating everybody up, and also assessments. So everybody thought after the hurricanes that came through, Hurricane Sally in 2020, and then the other hurricanes that hit the coast, we've gone about 3 years since any named storm has hit or any insurance claims, but people are still doing work on their condos to get it back up to different codes and things like that. So not only are a lot of these condos at that 30-year mark, but they also got, things got exposed when the hurricane came. So not only did interest rates take off, also assessments and things like that to do the repair work took off. So hoping as more of these condos get all back up to codes and get all, caught up to today's standards, that will, help them. Number one, there won't be as many, assessments and things like that for the condo owners, which will be fantastic. They won't have to write those big checks and see their profits go away. But hopefully it'll also help the insurance come down, because they'll see that certain things were done. Maybe it's got a new roof, it's got updated siding, it's got things like that, securities and new elevators, things like that make, the insurance more appealable, more of an appeal to the insurance carriers. So hopefully those insurance rates come down as well. I think if you see less assessments, insurance rates come down, and then you also see interest rates come down, that probably there'll be some more movement towards the end of this year in the condo market, which is great for the people looking to get out. And it'll also be great for buyers, because they're still going to get a lower sales price than 2-3 years ago. Not as hot of a market, but they're coming into, the assessments are done, the insurance is down, hopefully they have a better interest rates than anybody that bought in the past year. So it could kind of be a great scenario for buyers and sellers as far as that goes. On the rental side, I think we're going to see a lot of what we saw this past year in 2023, where the rentals, again, we get our data and all that from the tourism board, and they showed us that 2023, that prices were down and rents were down. Summertime, that's always our big market. So actually summertime rates were down a good percent, anywhere from 5 to 10%, that the overall rate, the nightly rate was down. Occupancy was about the same. I am hearing of complexes and certain units that used to rent every summer that just didn't have a full 100% occupancy this summer. So this past summer, so very odd, but it was kind of the shoulder season. So the springtime and the fall time, that can be make or break for a lot of investment condos and things like that. And that's where we saw the biggest hit this past year in 2023, where the shoulder season, it was down upwards of 30% across the whole coast in Alabama. So that just didn't help out a lot. That did not help out a lot of owners that were, just needing a little bit of money just to make it through those slower seasons where they weren't getting that. So honestly, would not be surprised if 2024 was the same, especially with some of the chaos with the economy and elections and all that. Are people really going to spend that money to have huge big vacations and things like that? For us on the rental side, it held a little bit stronger. Some of the extracurriculars that you can do at the beach, like parasailing and renting boats and going out to restaurants, they took even of a bigger hit because, again, people were spending their money on the vacation themselves, or on the vacation itself, and didn't spend as much money on the fun things that people like to do, renting a boat or going out on the pirate ship, or eating at a super nice restaurant every night and eating all the seafood and stuff like that. People stayed in the condo more, they cooked at the condo more, they just sat out at the beach, they didn't do that. So wouldn't be surprised if this year was the same as far as that went, where rents, again, probably about the same revenue wise and occupancy wise. 2023 as numbers that were around 2019 numbers, not those 2020, 21, 22 numbers that we saw just a big boom. So I'd be expecting that if you own a property or are looking at a property, things just to kind of prepare for. And that's kind of my glimpse or my thoughts of the coastal market down here on the real estate and on the rental side of things. So back into bigger economy things, I think the next is the stock market. So when the Fed announced that they were lowering interest rates, the stock market just soared. I think we're over 37,000 at the time I'm doing this, which is about the time that you'll be seeing it. Who knows what it'll be at then. But with some of those indicators and things like that looking better, I think the stock market, if we come into the year around the 37,000 mark, I think we'll end slightly higher. Will we see 40,000? It's very possible. Will we see a little stock market boom due to inflation coming down and Fed rates coming up and just movement and things like that? Very possible we see it go over 40,000. I don't think it'll go to 50,000. I don't think it will go below 30,000, pending some, catastrophic type event. But I think it'll stay relatively even to, 2,000-3,000, points higher, and things like that is what I'd be looking at for the stock market. So the next thing, I've kind of mentioned it before, is election year chaos. So like we talked about, we remember what happened in 2020 with the election year, and riots and the wars going on, and just a lot of infighting, and obviously we had a COVID and the big sickness that all that was. So wouldn't be surprised, it's an election year. People are going to be pulling out all the tricks that they have to, kind of sway elections in their way, and that goes for all parties. Again, we may have 2, 3, 4 different parties or headrunners that are running this year, so never know what to expect. That's why I encourage you to go back to my video, last week's video, that talked about things to do to prepare for 2024, and some of that is having those backup plans, having those what-if scenarios in place in case it is just an all-out crazy election year, which I'm definitely expecting, investigations and arrests and all kinds of just craziness that's going to happen. Everybody says wait in October for the other shoe to drop and things like that. So just make sure you're prepared. It may not be the year to just completely over leverage and expend yourself. Make sure you're prepared, and we kind of see how this all plays out and things like that before we go forward and things like that. So last couple of things is, I think that we will see the beginning of the end of the fall of traditional media and the rise of more of the social media like we're already seeing. So again, we've already seen how traditional media this past year, we finally cut the cord. So we got rid of cable. Now we're all, we have streaming services and things like that we use. And I think more and more people are doing that and also getting their news from external sources. Lower than ever of people that are getting on at night to watch the 5 o'clock nightly news on Fox News or CNN or any of those other channels. I think we're going to see even more of those top dogs that leave, just like this past year we saw Chris Cuomo and Tucker Carlson and all these people leave/get fired at the networks they were at. And now, like with Tucker Carlson, he's starting his kind of own network and channel going and things like that is going to be other ways to reach people. So the things like Elon Musk is doing with Twitter, which is now X, and things like that, you see a lot of people, just like Patrick Bet-David, who I talk about and love following. He has his own entertainment media channel. I think we're going to see a lot more of that. I think we're going to see even more of a decline of traditional media, and eventually 5 years out, no more than 10, but I think 5 years out, you'll see traditional media essentially no longer be around like it is today. And that rise of, podcasts and Joe Rogan style types of media where you can get on and watch other people's perspectives, and it's not a segmented where, the nightly news and they're hearing things in their ear and they're asking certain questions, where it's literally just kind of sitting down like this with a couple talking points with a guest or two, and they're just talking and they're rolling with things for a couple hours. So I think we're going to see more than that, even more, especially this year, more than ever, as we're getting ready for that election year and things like that. So I'd be on the lookout and make sure you're planning accordingly for those things, and start your own social media channels and things like that, because as the eyeballs and advertisement come in, you can kind of be on the upside of that. So be on the lookout for that, prepare in that way as well. And again, like Gary Vee says, just put out as much content as you can. That's why I'm hoping this year in 2024 to just keep pumping out as much content as I can, get the followers up there, get the eyeballs on you as they're all coming off of traditional media and into this new age of social media and individual media and things like that. So last and final thing, I mentioned it last year. You'll see on my next video where I talk about AI. And I kind of thought that last year AI wouldn't be as big as what it turned out to be. But I do think 2024 will be even bigger. So we saw, again, around this time last year, ChatGPT was coming onto the game. People were learning about that. Well, literally, we have older people and people that just you wouldn't have thought caught on so quick. Even my dad uses it to write certain real estate listings and rental listings and things like that. I wouldn't have really thought it would have caught on that quick, and it really has. And I think it's going to spark into something. I think we're going to see some revolutionary things. You're already seeing AI when it's coming to these fake commercials. You see The Rock or Joe Rogan talking, and you can kind of tell it's not actually them, but it sounds like their voice, and they're kind of covering up their mouth. I think that's going to reach a whole nother level of advance. There were not riots, but protests even in Hollywood because screenwriters and actors are getting scared, because now AI in the future will be able to write the script and will literally can put on the whole video and make the whole production essentially at no cost. So I think that's going to be on the rise. Video AI, picture AI. I mean, you see people, AI is creating logos, it's creating social media marketing campaigns, and it's just crazy. I think it's going to be a big breakthrough year. I think we may see one or two kind of big advancements or big newsworthy things that happen in that AI space. So that's some of those areas and categories that I'm looking at and expecting things to happen for 2024. Would love to get your thoughts of a couple things maybe that I didn't mention here, or that you've been thinking about. Hey, nobody's really thinking about this, but this is my prediction for what's going to happen in 2024. You should drop those in the comments. Would love to go back and forth and see what we all think. And then it's fun, like in my next video, where we're going to look back in a year from now and see, hey, what were you right on, what were you wrong on, and things like that, which is always fun. So hope, going back to a couple weeks ago, hope you are planning and preparing for 2024. Hope you already have that system down. Hope you're already putting some of those things into practice, into play, what you want to do for 2024. And again, drop your predictions of 2024 here in the comments. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you next time.